My new book, Pillars for Life, A Guide to Spiritual Ethics and Practice, is now out and available for you to read and purchase. You can check out our website, willowhealing.org, to find a link, or you can find it on Amazon. We look forward to getting your feedback, and if you love it, please leave a review and share with your friends. Now it's time for the show. Welcome to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We are so excited to have you joining us on this journey where we explore different ways to empower your soul, whether it's healing in your kitchen or all the way up in the corporate world. Come with us as we look into different ways to heal your mind, body, and soul. Hey everyone, it's Catherine from Willow Healing, and today I am here with the beautiful Amber Sia. She is a yoga teacher and a sound healer, but that wasn't always her journey. As a former banker turned yoga teacher, sound healer, and now coach, she blends movement and stillness, strength and softness to support mind-body alignment. Dedicated to holistic wellness, she integrates meditation and sound healing with a heart-centered approach to cultivate peace and calmness. She is a passionate and empowering individuals to reconnect with their inner selves, restoring inner balance and harmony, and to live a life of purpose and fulfillment. So, a big welcome to the show, Amber.
Hello. Hi, Willow Healing. Hi, everyone.
I
Hi
had
to Catherine,
no
most
idea.
importantly.
Hello.
Hello,
It's
yes.
it's so funny. I've to the everyone listening, I've known Amber for a few months now, I think, since the start of the year. And I never knew your background until I actually read your bio. So do you want to share a little bit how you went from this banker corporate world to all of a sudden yoga, sound healer, beautiful mindful coach?
Yeah, absolutely. It was accidental actually. Life always has this way of leading us to where we're meant to be. I started off in banking and for about close to a decade. And along the way I had this chronic lower back pain that my parents had exhausted all means but just couldn't find a solution. Stumbled across yoga and wow, what a relief it's been. And since then, I've been an avid yoga practitioner. And one thing led to the other. I started taking yoga teacher training course, and I was offered an opportunity to teach. And from there, I fell in love with teaching. And then I realized that how much I enjoy seeing how people coming out from Savasana, from a deep rest, feeling so balanced, so fulfilled. And I feel like it's been such a great calling. So much so that for 2 years, actually, I was working 7 days a week. So maintaining my day job as a banker, and on the weekends I was teaching 5 or 6 classes. So it went on for 2 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah, and of course my body is out too much, so I had burnout. So I got sick quite a lot towards the end. Actually, I got sick about actually every month, and that was a sign from the body saying that it really is time to slow down. I had traditional Chinese medicine practitioner who told me that the body is not your age. It's just too much now. And that really prompted me to have a deep conversation within myself. What is it that I really wanted to do in life? What is something that can give me the true sense of fulfillment and purpose? And the answer was actually to be in wellness in yoga. And that's when I decided to take a plunge, jump right into it from banking to bending. and
I love that.
that's where it started. Yeah, it was quite a journey since then, going from really corporate to really seeing how my timing has changed, how serving people in such a different capacity to help people to find that sense of ease and peace within them. It's been really meaningful.
Yeah, and what a change of mindset that would have had to be too. From, I imagine working in the banking system would have been quite competitive, like always trying to, make sure that you meet your targets and everything like that. To, all right, my goal today is to make everyone come in touch with themselves and leave a little bit more relaxed or more in touch with their bodies by the end of it.
Absolutely. You go from working so hard and really grinding to burnout to going to the other end of it to everyone, let's just slow down.
Exactly. And it it's such a shame, but that we have to go, well, I guess it's our soul contracts, that we have to go through all the extremeness before we actually start listening to what our soul wants, right? Like we have to get to those extreme burnouts instead of, oh, this doesn't feel right. And, like you said, you were working 7 days a week because it's almost like, and I can relate with this so much, Amber, but it's like in your head, you're like, I still need guaranteed income and I still need this and I still need this because we've been so conditioned that that's how the wealth flows and that's how it's meant to look, that we're meant to have this solid 9 to 5 where we have guaranteed money coming in.
Absolutely. So it was really tricky, and it felt right for a while because I need time to upskill myself as a yoga teacher while maintaining my day job. And to be fair, I actually enjoyed my work in the bank as well. I was doing different projects and get different exposure to senior level, to stakeholder management, and well into exposure into different divisions. I really enjoyed the learning. It's just that at some point I had to ask myself, like, what is truly meaningful in life? And to me, the answer has always been a well-being of a person, to be able to see someone truly thrive from a place of wholeness, and it truly means a lot to me.
That is such a beautiful sentiment because exactly when you can see someone as whole and there's no fixing or healing that needs to happen, it's then that you can accept exactly where you are. And then weirdly, that's when the healing actually happens.
Very true, absolutely. And then you
Yeah.
just flourish in your own way.
Exactly, exactly. So then you've done your yoga. So then what pulled you to actually start doing work with sound healing as well?
This was actually along the way. So funny story. So from doing a lot, maybe a little too much yoga, I actually broke my hip. So I had bursitis, and it was inflammation around my hip joint. And from there, um, doctor was telling me you either go for surgery or you take painkillers. I was like, let's just wait it out. But it really hurt. I was limping for a few months. And one day I decided I'm just going to go in for a sound healing class and just unwind and relax because I couldn't really sleep due to the pain. I walked in limping and I walked out completely fine. My family went like, where did you go? And that's when I realized that sound healing was amazing. It really heals someone from my case, even at a physical level, because it reduced inflammation. Of course, it took time to recover, but in that 2 hours, I really walked out completely normal. And since then, in different sound healing classes, I actually had different experiences. Sometimes was emotional release, and you learn about realizations, and through silence and stillness, we find a lot of answers within us. And that's when I find a lot
Yeah.
of inspiration and motivation to start offering as well.
Yeah, which is so beautiful because often I say this to people, a lot of guests that come on, our reasons for doing things start as selfish reasons, right? Because it's like, I need to
Yes.
fix these
Yes.
things going on in my body. And then you're like, oh, this is
Yeah,
magical. I want to share this with the world. And it just has that
absolutely.
big switch.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and I think too, like sound healing is such a magical process, and even no, I feel like a lot of people don't realize how much sound does carry energy, and it's not just song bowls or gongs or chimes or things like that. Every kind of musical sound you hear does carry a certain frequency, and when you start to tune into how your body reacts to those different frequencies, it gives you a whole new perspective of what you're actually listening to as well.
Yes, it really encourages us to have this deep listening towards our body. There's this new research shared by scientific research actually said that our cells in our body, from our skin to our tissues and our organs, actually respond to sound vibrations. So the future of healing is one of it is actually sound, that it can
Yeah,
reduce
exactly.
inflammation, bring more calmness. Yeah, amazing
Yeah.
benefits.
And if anyone's curious about what we actually mean when we're talking about that, think about how you feel if you're near something that's really loud, like, like a lawnmower or something like that, and it just makes you feel like really weird. Versus if you're near like a trickling stream, it's going to have different impact on your body and the amount of energy that's coming off that from the sounds that you're hearing, it's going to impact your body differently as well.
Absolutely. Amazing. Yeah. And I've also had different realizations and also visualization. Actually, I found out I was pregnant from sound healing. Yeah, it was
Serious.
insane. Yeah, because I actually heard I felt a heartbeat within me, but the heart was beating so fast. And turns out, along the way, when I actually went for, um, no, you backtrack to when I first started, the facilitator was guiding us to see, imagine a flower. And I was imagining like a yellow orchid. I was like, what is yellow orchid? It's not even my favorite flower. And turns out it was about fertility. I was like, okay, something's happening. And sure enough, it was positive. So I was pregnant. And when I was pregnant, I actually went for another sound healing session. And from there, I felt the heartbeat. And the heartbeat was so fast, it wasn't even mine. And through the ultrasound, and it was from the doctor said it was the baby's heartbeat. And as a mother, you know you can't ordinarily hear the fetus heartbeat, but I could actually
Yeah.
feel it. Yeah.
Oh, I have goosebumps. That is so beautiful, and that you could actually connect to your. I know you have a daughter. Everyone, I'm not a mind reader here. I know she has a daughter, but that you could connect to your daughter at that level before she even came into this world. Like, how beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. So everything is energy, and I can feel it in such a subtle way. Of course, the experience differs for every individual, but it shows you the possibilities and wonders of sound and energy.
Yeah, I had a my spiritual mentor, she does sound bowls and things like that as part of her process. And I remember she was doing this, I don't know, I was doing some meditation and I didn't even know, but her cat actually came and laid on me while the sounds were going. And she's like, that never happens. And she goes, it's just she's feeling that you're in with tune with the bowls. And it's really interesting because depending on your vibration and your energy depends what the bowls sound like too.
Saying, and it goes to show you must be in such a state of calmness that the cat feels so calm
Yeah,
to
I didn't
lay down
even
aside
know.
too. That's how calm you were.
Or just not present, just in a different world, a different dimension.
I love that. Amazing.
Oh dear. So then you've got now we've figured out where the yoga came from, where the sound healing came from, and I love that the universe just kept dropping you in these different things right when you needed them, right? And they just showed up accidentally on purpose. That's what I say, accidentally on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you got pulled to coaching as well. Is this the wellness piece in what you have to offer?
yeah, for sure. And along the way, I found a lot of healing through actually COVID times. You know, like you said, universe has a way of showing us the way through sometimes really extreme condition. Like during COVID, I had my daughter at the peak of COVID, and you can imagine being a newborn, a new parent in a time where the world has shut down. It was tough without with a lack of um, physical connection with your village of support. It is hard trying to figure things out on my own. So I had a lot of anxiety, and it was not officially diagnosed, but I'm pretty certain I had depression at the time, feeling really lost, losing a sense of identity as a new mother, not knowing who I am, who, what's next. It was really daunting. So I got to a point where I genuinely questioned myself as a mother. I have so much love for my daughter and such a bundle of joy, expectedly so, but a lot of times it came with a mixture of worry about what's going to happen, especially with COVID happening. Yeah, so that prompted me to get to a point to start searching within myself, to redefine who I am as a person and as a mother. It was really painful having to go through that mess and to uncover the parts, the good, the bad, the ugly of ourselves. But what
Yeah.
came out of it was I never felt so lost being a mother, but I've never been so sure after. To find that profound inner strength, resilience, and grace for myself.
Yeah.
Because
And
of that, I've found, yeah,
yeah, I was going to say, I know, like from us, I've been talking to a lot of mums lately, and that's the biggest thing that they all share, Amber. It's like that identity loss when you become a mother, because all of a sudden that almost usurps everything that you used to be. And as much as we don't want to admit that that's what happens, it truly does, because your priorities shift. You have this instinct, mother's instincts now. I remember when I was younger and my friend had a baby, and we were just talking on the lounge. She's like, "Oh, she's awake." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And a minute later, she'd start crying. It's just that, mother's instinct, and it usurps everything else. And obviously, from a survival point of view, it makes complete sense. But then you still try and find yourself in all of that. And to be so alone and not have anyone to talk to, or it's not even talk to, it's that physical presence, right? Actually being physically with a human being.
Yeah, absolutely. And to know that you're not mothering on your own, especially having to figure every single thing out for a new life, and while also having the shifts in the dynamic from the relationship with your partner because of the change in the priority as well. And who are you outside motherhood? Everything becomes a question mark.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. And it does exactly what you said. Everything becomes a question mark, because all of a sudden you're like, I'm choosing my baby before me. And it sounds really weird, but we have to almost retrain ourselves to choose ourselves before our baby, because if we're not okay, then our baby's not going to be okay.
absolutely. And to choose ourselves, there's so much depth to it. It's also about reparenting ourselves, our inner child, all the childhood experience that shape who we are as a person right now. And then to then ask ourselves, what do we want to pass down from what we have learned from our parents as well? What is serving us that we can continue to bring more meaning into their lives? How can we turn pain to purpose, hurt to healing, wound to wisdom? And it is a journey of discovery.
It is. And that compassionate self inquiry that you need to have for yourself during that, when you ask those questions and when you ask, hey, what's going on here? What does this actually mean? What is it teaching me? Because the human experience is forever unpacking itself, right? You're never done learning. And if you think you are, the universe will make sure that you get a message to go, you're not done yet.
Yeah, yeah. It always gets so messy before it gets better.
Exactly. The chaos. That's what I call it, the chaos. And
The
then
chaos,
often I get
absolute
this.
chaos.
Yeah, and often, it was funny, my mentor messaged me the other day. She goes, "You've been popping in my head." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is what's going on." She goes, "Just imagine yourself in the eye of the storm and everything going around you in the cyclone, and then you'll be okay."
Absolutely. I love that. How true. How true. And it takes so
Yeah,
much too. Easier said than done. You firstly take that radical honesty to be willing to look within. I read that a lot of part of healing is also about taking ownership about how much suffering we've inflicted within ourselves. And it is
exactly.
so humbling in that journey to be able to see how our inner voice, we have internalized the voices from the world towards ourselves that shapes us. But what's good coming out of it is to know that we are also capable to reverse that and to redefine ourselves as who we are as a family and as an individual above all.
Yeah, and the power that we actually all have to be able to do that. And it's just sometimes you just need to find that courage and that strength to be able to question what you've always believed, and question the life that you have, and question what's coming out from those darkest parts of you, because it's when we have that courage and compassion for ourselves and give ourselves the grace through that, as you were saying, that's when you can start to shift all those beliefs that were passed down that aren't necessarily benefiting anybody anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And I would love to ask you as well. So if you were to, what is something that you'd like to pass down to your next generation? Because I'm sure you've been through your journey of healing as well.
I feel, to pass down to my little one, my little son, it would be not to let people put you in boxes, that you can be infinite and you can be anything you want to be, because often we're so conditioned that this is what your life has to look like, when it really doesn't have to look that way at all. And unpacking that when you get everything and realizing you're not fulfilled. and that this wasn't your dream, it was just an aspect of a dream and the dream changes, is actually quite a grieving process, I have to say. But, if you have that insight moving forward that you can create anything you want, then no one can tell you who you're going to be anymore, right?
Absolutely. And that itself has so much power because now you take ownership and you decide how your life should be or will be. What is the best gift you can offer the world?
Yeah. Exactly. And, we are conditioned from the moment we are born, even before that, to have, we
Hmm.
have cultural implications, we have beliefs, we have our family's expectations, and then we go through our own stuff to add on top of that. And then we think we have to fit in, especially my history is I always had to make myself fit in with everybody else. And when I started spiritual work, especially, and working with other people, I just kept getting shown people putting themselves in boxes. It was like a universal message across nearly everyone I did. And then it was like, you need to kick down those walls and be infinite. You got to, just don't even have a box anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Break the walls down and start building all over again.
Exactly. Exactly. And build it back how what resonates with you and how you want it to look in your life. And when you come back to what you truly want, a lot of people won't even understand it because they're like, why would you want to do that? Or why would you not want to keep that job or that company? Or, you're earning good money, because your values are very different to theirs too.
Absolutely. And it's often in those times that you're being questioned a lot that in hindsight, you know you're on the right track.
Especially when people come back to you and go, I wish I could do that. And you're like, why
Yeah,
can't you? And then they give you all the excuses as why they can't, but they're just excuses. And it's often like, oh, but we have to do this, we have to do this. But like, but yeah, that life sounds really good. It's like, well, why not? Why not just have a go? Why not just see what happens?
like, yeah, because we always have a choice.
Exactly. Exactly. So, with your healing journey of rediscovering that you actually are whole, I want to say it that way. What has been your favorite practice or favorite moment, I guess?
My favorite moment in my healing journey was in a few ways. Actually, it is reflected in what I do as well through yoga, where those were the days that I used to practice something so sweaty, so intense. I feel I have a good workout. It strengthens my body, help me to reduce my lower back pain. And how it's evolved over time is to have a really balanced practice. Because when you're in a state of really balance, you're no longer seeking for more. You're in a state of equilibrium. And in that state of equilibrium, you're stable, you're at ease. That sense of vastness in your mind through your presence in that silence actually gives answers. And that's how I enjoy my yoga practice these days. Meditation as well, through silence and stillness. A lot of times we have insights and understanding within us that we just need to be able to tune in. Yeah.
And I think that's
Same
such
goes
a
to sound
beautiful
healing as
thing.
well.
Yeah, especially as I know you're a mum. And, as a mum, finding those moments of silence for yourself and how powerful it can be. And I know personally, if I go a whole day and I don't get any silence or just that quality alone time where you can just be with yourself, it can be so detrimental on your mental health as well.
Absolutely. You feel like being pulled in so many different directions, yet have to hold it all together, especially as mothers, and that's so hard. So one of the things I think that's the easiest way, which is one of my favorite ways, is just to be in nature. Nature has so much to offer us. Yeah, just in that moment of silence, you notice the vastness, the unassuming part of the world that it just allows you to tune inwards and to learn. Earth teaches us to be grounded. Trees teaches us growth need patience. The sky teaches us that we are limitless. The sun teaches us to always generously giving and be our own light. There's so much we can learn from nature.
Yeah. And that's such a beautiful reminder too for Amber, for anyone listening, because I have met so many people that when you say meditation, they run the other way because they have this image that you have to just sit there and cross your legs and hold your fingers in the Om position and chant. And it's like, well, that's one aspect of meditation, but it's wherever you get that peace and quiet, right? And that stillness. And I love that you brought up nature because that is such a nice place that people can go, you know, but detach from your devices. If you are going out into nature, actually be in nature rather than, I'm going to take. It's amazing how many people I see like going for a walk and they're just on their phone the whole time, which kind of counteracts the whole benefit of being outside and just being in the environment around you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why they say that one of the quotes I recently came across is that in nature, you always find more than what you seek for. And just to also relate to your point earlier, yes, there are so many ways of meditation. One of the ways being in nature is because just through nature, we're cultivating mindfulness. Because the word mindfulness is not about absence of thoughts, it is the presence of awareness in any state that you allow you to be so in tune with your mind, your body, your breath, and your heart. You are already in a way meditating.
That's such a beautiful image. I just had this image of you standing in nature under a tree and almost like that synergy of coming together and, this beautiful connectedness because so often we need that reminder that we are nature and we come from nature and we are part of nature. So, having that reminder of just being in nature. The other one I like to recommend for some of my clients is gardening. Like if they're avid gardeners, just being in the dirt, putting your hands in the soil, being really connected with the plants that you're working with can be a meditation in itself. And there was this thing that popped up on Instagram. There's this lady I follow, and she uses dowsing sticks to ask the universe questions. And one of them is sitting in silence in the car whilst you're driving a form of meditation? And it said yes. And I'm like, oh, I so resonate with that because that's often when I get so many epiphanies when I'm driving the usual drive to work, and then your head just tunes out and it's like, oh, that's a good thought. Thank you very much. Thank you for that silence and that stillness.
Yeah, absolutely. It can really be done everywhere. Yeah, I resonate with that too. In cars, I usually do my breath work, especially in traffic jam. What do you do now? Let's just go. And it
Exactly.
actually helps to clear out. Yeah. It
Yeah.
actually helps you to
I
detox and release to cleanse.
Yeah, and it's so funny you mentioned in a traffic jam. I pulled up to get petrol or gas, whoever's listening, what resonates with you. But at the and I was waiting. There was this massive queue, and I was like, "Oh, I could just sit here." And I was like, "Oh, I've got oracle readings to do for people." So I just started doing oracle readings while I'm sitting there in the car
Wow.
doing nothing because I was like, what else? I'm going to maximize my time. I'm sitting here, I'm not driving, I've got my card deck with me. I'm just going to go for it. So it's like how
Yeah.
you utilize those moments and capture them. So, especially, you know, time poor parents, I understand exactly what you mean, but it's about taking advantage of the time that you do have.
Yes, make every moment count.
Exactly. And as we start to finish our time up, Amber, I asked the guests that come on the show if you could heal or change something in the world, what would it be?
If I could heal or change something in the world, I wish everyone journey back to themselves
Yeah.
because we are so bombarded with information in the external world. And when we look outwards, we become more intelligent. But when we look inwards, we find more wisdom. So often we have the answers deep within us about who we truly are, who we're meant to be, what's the gift that we can offer to this world. We just need to listen to it, trust it, and execute it, and to be the best version of ourselves.
Yeah. So beautiful. And I love that you have intelligence from the outside and that wisdom comes from within. That's such a powerful remembrance for everybody listening. And if people want to find you, Amber, where can they connect with you or come and work with you?
Yeah, I also love to. I'm on Instagram, alignwithember.s. You're always welcome to reach out, whether you like to have a session of yoga, meditation, or sound healing, or even coaching as well. In any way, I trust that we are all connected in this world. So I'm looking forward to cross paths. And it's also such a pleasure to cross paths with you too, Catherine.
Thank you, Amber. Yeah, we got along very quickly.
I love that, and I love that. That's how you've been holding space for others. How you've been also holding space in podcasts. It's a really friendly, really fun session. Appreciate that.
Thank you. And thank you so much for sharing your journey and more into sound healing. It's been a really magical journey. Thank you, Amber.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We have so much love and gratitude that you have taken the time out of your day to empower you on your healing journey. The views shared by the person being interviewed might not necessarily reflect that of the host and should be used at your own discernment. Trust what resonates for you and follow your heart and soul guidance. If you have any underlying medical conditions or mental health issues, please consult with your healthcare provider before pursuing any of the recommendations. Likewise, you can always contact the person being interviewed to find out more information. This can be found in the show notes. Remember to activate, align, heal, empower, and find love in everything that you do.